And you're very welcome along to this week's episode of The Shot Clock. It's very simple. We've got 8 topics. We've got an interview. We've got 2 minutes to shoot your shot. And at the end of that, hopefully, you'll all realise that I'm right. That's kind of the rules of the game. The Hooter will sound to shut us up, and we promise that this week we're actually going to pay attention to what happens when the Hooter sounds. We're basketball heavy this week. Kieran Donaghy from Tinseltown to Tralee. How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Yeah, very good. I'm looking forward to this. Our first topic this morning is LeBron James and the Lakers. This was supposed to be the move that turned LeBron into a billionaire, that allowed him to branch out to become a Hollywood mogul as well as potentially an owner. But all of a sudden, the appearances on the field, on the court, have been so bad that people are now wondering if he's going to damage his legacy. They're not even going to make it to the playoffs this year. The greatest player of all time, not in the playoffs. What's going on?
Well, that's your first mistake. He's not the greatest player of all time. He's one of the greatest players of all time. It looks certain now that he's not going to make the playoffs. I've watched a lot of games in recent. He looks old. He looks a small bit injured. He's coming back off a groin injury. He looks disinterested in what's going on in LA at the moment. I think he made the move for possibly. I was reading Kieran Shannon's article this morning, and I agree with him. He made the move for non-basketball reasons. I think he made the move to Miami years ago to win championships. I think this was a bit more of we might win championships, but it'd be nice to live in LA. They've got lots of free agents up next year. They've got Caldwell Pope, Tyson Chandler, Rajon Rondo. They've injuries. Lonzo Ball, Kuzma went down with a rolled ankle the last day. So yeah, it's his first time in 13 years. He's not going to make the playoffs. But I think more importantly, and a bit more worrying for Lakers fans, is I don't know if superstars will want to go down there next year. If LeBron isn't LeBron, and he's going to be 35 next season, and if they see him starting to slow down, they mightn't want to put all their eggs in that basket.
I think that this is just him doing what Jordan did when Jordan went off to play baseball. This is his mid-career taking the season off. You saw that clip in the game during the week where he had to be pushed out to defend. He's just having a little bit of downtime. This is him resting his body in full view of everybody, and he'll be back next year, and everybody will want to play with him, because of course, if he wins a championship with the Lakers, that cements his status as the greatest of all time.
Yeah, but he's got to go do it. And right now, I don't know. They've got to make a big few signings come the next window, because I'd be honest. If I was there, there'd be other teams I'd be looking to go to rather than go to the Lakers, because there's a lot of the Lakers is kind of like a Dublin Kerry scenario. There's a lot of pressure the minute you put on a Lakers uniform, so it's not a place where you can kind of go and ease yourself into winning championships. You're kind of going there. The pressure's going to be on you straight away. You're going to be playing with LeBron James. You're going to be expected to win championships. You have to live up to all the legacy.
Yeah, that is loud. Where are we going next?
Liverpool. Are they choking, Ger? Or is everyone, even myself included, are other people, are Liverpool fans, the Liverpool players, are they just becoming aware of just how good this Manchester City team is, and have they seen the writing that's on the wall? Can they go win this league?
I don't think they're going to be able to go and win the league, but I also don't think that automatically means they're choking. They've put themselves in this position by playing the best football that they've managed in the Premier League, potentially in history. There was that one year where obviously they were good under Brendan Rodgers when they had Luis Suarez, who was so far ahead of the rest of the league that it wasn't really true. This time they've come up against an absolute juggernaut in the best manager potentially of all time, who now has unlimited funds and who has had enough time to build the squad that he wants to make sure that Manchester City are capable of absorbing any of the injury issues that they've had. So there was a period where they didn't have Kevin De Bruyne. They managed to get through that. If Liverpool lost a player of De Bruyne's talent, suddenly you're looking at Daniel Sturridge or Divock Origi coming into the side, and that's just not good enough if you want to win the league over the course of the 38-game season or whatever it is. So I don't think they're choking. I think that they've reached a point where they're peaking. Now, it's a good sign, because next season, if they add a few more players and they get the bench not to be Origi and Sturridge, and actually players who are not that far away from their front three, then perhaps this is a team that's actually using this as a stepping stone, as opposed to a team who's just coming and fading back. I don't think they're choking. They're coming up against one of the best teams that there has been in the Premier League, who have been pretty much unstoppable apart from a few random blips. It's not done. It's not completely finished. Man City will have some big games in the Champions League that they have to live up to, but I don't think they're choking.
There was that game though, they were 7 points ahead, right? And if they'd have won, they would have been 10, and they would have been breathing space. And they've had 4 draws, 2 1-1s, 2 0-0s for a team that was scoring all these goals earlier on the season and last season. it just strikes me that I think they feel that the writing's on the wall a bit. I prefer to see Liverpool win the league than Man City, so I hope they do it, but I just think that they're starting to kind of stumble over that finish line. Yeah,
I'm in agreement with you on that. I think but we're like two of the only people in the world outside Liverpool who actually want them to win. Let's move on, because I want to talk about Tommy Walsh. This was going to be the bit where I blow my own trumpet, but I've got to hand some of the credit over to Tommy Rooney here. He was the one who was like, here, you've got to talk about Tommy Walsh, because the influence that he's having and the impact that he's having. Everybody's talking about the kids and what Peter Keane is doing with that team of kids in Kerry, but actually it's this old head who has like the confidence of the years of struggle and success that he's put together. He's playing really well, and it looks like, I think, that maybe he is actually going to be a starter from this point forward for Kerry going on. What do you think?
He was an absolute colossus on Sunday in every facet of the game. We spoke about him last week. Above in tune, he was being obviously marked by this Galway blanket defence that they're using at the moment, and he kind of, he toughed it out inside there. He started getting on ball, he started linking play through the hands, then he went out to midfield and caught 3 big kick-outs at a time Kerry needed, and he was a general leader for them. What I loved about the last day is just everything he did. He was so authoritative in it. He got a ball in 20 minutes into the first half, turned onto his left leg. And the minute he got the ball, I said, Tommy's going winding up with that. He's going to put this on the left, which is a hard kick into the top goals in Fitzgerald Stadium. They're just a tough goals to kick into. And he takes this thing off his left, and he just looked so confident over it. And I kind of, just when I saw that sail over, I said, the big man's back, and he's back with a vengeance. He 25 possessions the last day as a former full forward. That's a ridiculous number for a full forward to have. He had 4 advanced marks. He kicked 3 of those, dropped 1 short. He kicked the screamer with his left from play. He won 4 out of 6 hot balls, so he's guaranteeing you hot balls as well. Any hot ball that's around the forward line, Tommy's going to win it. He got 3 scoreable frees off of them. He'd 1 assist. So he was involved in 8 scores, but he also had hockey assists, Ger. I don't know if you're aware of hockey assists, but I used to count them in my own head as my own little stat, where I'd win a ball, I'd give it to Declan Sullivan, coming off my shoulder, Declan would pop it to the Gooch, and Gooch would throw it over. I felt I had a big part to do with that score, but would never get the recognition. Tommy had 4 of those as well the last day. So if you count his hockey assists, he was involved in 12 out of the 17 points. So it bodes well for the summer, and it gives Kerry serious options. I think come the summertime, when everybody's back fit and healthy, he's a viable shout to start, but I just think he'd be so much more valuable to Kerry with 25 minutes to go, because he covers all the scenarios. He covers you if you're losing a game, you need a big man in the edge of the box. He covers you if you're struggling for possessions, you need him to go to midfield. He covers you as a leader late on, whereas if you don't have him late on, you're not going to have all those things. So it's a real case of he's probably good enough to start, but you might hold him.
Are you leaving the bit out there where Declan O'Sullivan would dribble past 3 players and then pop it off to the Gooch, and you're still giving yourself a hockey assist?
I wouldn't give myself a hockey assist if Declan did his slaloming run through 3 players, but I certainly would when he just popped it off. Fair enough. All right. To the Dubs next, I think, is it? Rory O'Carroll, he's back. One of the best full-backs around. Jim Gavin's got to bring him in, right? He's just too good. He looks like, he's one of these typical Dubs that no matter how he's away, he keeps himself in good shape, but back in training with Kilmacud, but I'm sure his phone's going to be happening soon. What do you think?
I don't know. I think that the one thing that Jim Gavin has done is he's made everybody sit and wait it out. Even when Jack McCaffrey came back, it was in the middle of the year. When Paul Mannion came back, they all had to wait that little period of time so that nobody felt like somebody was being given special treatment. And in the long run, it worked out. But it's a high wire act, especially at the moment when you see all of the goals that Dublin have conceded so far in the league are effectively, one of them was like an accidental high ball into the full forward line where it was a shot balloon that went up into the air like a Gary Owen, and it ends up breaking, and Roscommon end up scoring off the back of it. If you're Jim Gavin, you must be looking at that going, I see a bit of a trend here. High balls into our full forward, into our full back line, and we seem to be at 6s and 7s. The one man that they have who might be available to fix all that is Rory O'Carroll. Do you break the rules that have made you so spectacularly successful so far and change the habit of a lifetime and bring him straight back in? I'm just not sure that Jim Gavin is the man to change his habits.
Well, that's what we're led to believe, that these guys had to wait it out, but I wouldn't be quite so sure if Jim didn't have a nice little quiet phone call and said, look, go back with the lads, get your 5 or 6 weeks in, dip your toe back in the water, and once you're moving well, don't worry about it. Here's your weights program, we'll call you back in a few weeks. I would say that phone call was made, even though we wouldn't hear about it. But he's a definite serious option for the Dubs to have.
So the Tommy Walsh example earlier is a good one. They brought him straight back into the panel and it didn't work out and everybody said, oh, that was it. But it took him a little bit of time. Maybe Dublin learn from that and give Rory O'Carroll a month or two club football and then bring him straight back.
No, I saw Rory O'Carroll absolutely melt some fella on Twitter last night out in New Zealand in a football game. So he was playing football out in New Zealand. He's been tipping away. Tommy Walsh was outside learning how to kick this oval ball for 6 years. And didn't touch an O'Neill's except when he was playing international rules. So no, they're not the same comparison. And plus, what touch do you need to be a full back? Just go out and kill all around you, and Rory's well able for that, trust me.
Yeah, okay. You've got some personal experience of that, do you?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, I think we've got some pictures of it there. There's you in the midst of 3 Dubs. It's like a Renaissance picture. He's got your jersey. Yeah. You seem to have his neck. So, it's a fair trade-off.
They were probably pulling and dragging out of me.
Oh, the whole time, yeah. I'm not even sure if that's Cluxton. It looks like a league game because it could have been. No, I'm not sure who the goalkeeper is there. Yeah, there's 3 of them there. You had good times at Rory.
Yeah, no, we did. My last great battle with him was in 2015. My first game as captain of Kerry, and it was a titanic battle in hailstone. I don't know if you remember the game, but hailstone was flying across our faces in Killarney. And yeah, we went to war that day. But he was a good guy that would bring it to you hard on the pitch. But there was never anything kind of carried off afterwards. It was always a handshake. But he was a tough bit of stuff, trust me. And I would say if he gets two months into him, he'll be some option for Dublin come the summer. But that's what makes Dublin the greatest squad of all time. They're the greatest squad of all time because they've been able to do without Rory O'Carroll. They've been able to do without Mannion, Connolly. They've been able to do without Jack McCaffrey. So they have the best squad of all time. But we're still going to hold the debate on the best team of all time. One
last question for you before we move on. We're supposed to, but I'm going to break my own rules. So imagine that they say no, they don't want him, and they leave Connolly and Rory O'Carroll out of the squad, and they don't win 5 in a row. It would be always the biggest asterisks in history. Why didn't you just bring the lads back? Just bring them back. See if they can do anything. Have them on the bench. Just make them warm up. The crowd will go mental.
Yeah. Absolutely, it's whatever about Connolly. There's obviously issues there, but I would say O'Carroll would seem to me be like an easy fit back into that squad.
Let's move on. March Madness, Irish style. This is an incredible story from Tralee this week. They are queued round the block to buy tickets for the biggest game in basketball in Ireland this year. We've got some footage there in the bottom corner. People are able to see it, including some of the actual players buying tickets for this game. Kieran, what's going on?
Yeah, no, Fergal O'Sullivan there, our captain's in the queue with his baseball hat on, buying these 5 tickets. So there was no concessions for any of the players. Believe you me, we had to go get our tickets like everybody else. But yeah, look, the game was sold out. It was sold out in 24 hours. The shop, Garvey Super Value, was closed for 12 of those hours. But yeah, look, it's a great game in the season. We're the last 2 teams in the league on 4 losses, so it's a kind of it's a do or die game, but. You know, the buzz around Tralee certainly, and even talking to Mary Maguire, they're involved with Basketball Ireland, you know, they're really looking forward to the game. They're streaming the game Saturday night. They expect big numbers watching it. Top of the table clash. We're going to have smoke machines. We're going to have lasers. We're going to have lights out. We're going to have a fan zone. We have face painting. We have as much fun as you can have for your €5 and your €8 to bring your kids to a game. But if you've missed out on the tickets, you've missed out. But no, it's great. Basketball is booming in this country. We've a lot of kids playing in the real March Madness. That'll be, you know, that are kids that are involved in colleges that are going for spots in the real March Madness happening in America soon. So look, it's the largest indoor sport played in the country. It doesn't get enough publicity. I've been shouting from the rafters for the last 2 years to try and get it up there. And look, we're doing good stuff in Tralee, and I think the league is improving as well, of putting on more of a show for their fans in their own venues. So it's there's big buzz down here.
Yeah, but you must be starting to see that the shouting from the rafters is beginning to pay off. That like those scenes are not scenes that we see all the time. We certainly haven't seen it for a while in basketball, but it is having an impact.
It is, yeah, and I think it's. You know, when we started the Garvey's Warriors 4 years ago, we said that we were going to make sure that it was a show for the kids. So if you bring your kids along, Ger, that you're actually you're getting more than a basketball game. A basketball game is one part of it, but there's half court shots. There's kids playing at half time in front of large numbers in a packed complex. You've got your 11 and your 12-year-olds trying to get their baskets. They're buzzing after the game. We've mascots before. We've national anthems. We're just doing things, bringing slightly more effort to putting on a show. It's a very cheap version of the NBA, extremely cheap, Ger, but we're trying.
Yeah, no, you've got to keep trying. That's exactly what the sport needs. And so, well done and best of luck this weekend. I'm not going to wish you too much luck because our special guest this week is going to be up against you. We'll get to that in just a minute. But before we do, we're going back to Madrid.
Yeah, the Boo Boys in Madrid that we spoke about last week when you compared them to some other fans that I won't go into. But it's the whole Bale thing and the booing him after what he's done and the goals he got in Champions League finals, and he's 65 goals in 120 games, and you know the treatment he's getting is scandalous to my eyes. What are your thoughts on it?
I think that you can't be whining if you're Gareth Bale or Gareth Bale's agent. You're getting 350 grand a week net, so the wages of sin or death. If you are at a club where the expectations are so high and you've performed so well in the past and you've been part of that, then I'm sorry, you just have to get on with it and live with it and come out the other side in terms of form, or leave. Like if at this stage that's the bit of your career where you're going to earn this, then you've got to go on and move. And if you need to take a pay cut to be happy, then your happiness is more important than the money. You've already banked enough, you're going to be grand. The one thing I'd say about Bale is that he hasn't apparently properly integrated himself into Madrid life. There are some rumours that he still doesn't properly, fully speak Spanish, that he hasn't become a Madridista, that he kind of lives in a little Welsh enclave. And that's fair enough if you're going to go and live there for a little while and go home again and that's your intention. But it's Madrid, it's beautiful, there's amazing culture, there's amazing history, and you're so rich you can afford to live there properly. Get a proper Spanish tutor, learn some Spanish, give them a bit of jet back, they'll love you for it.
Yeah, isn't it a great language to speak in a way? I'd love to be able to speak it. If I was out there I'd definitely have the best tutor would be drilling me. What about booing Ramos? What's Ramos going to get next week in the next game? Is he going to get booed? The major Madrid, the Madrid, they love him in Madrid. He's everybody else hates him, but they love him in Madrid. He gets purposely sent off a number of weeks ago, misses last night, and they get battered by Ajax.
Yeah.
So I hope he gets a bit of treatment on Sunday, because you know it's really bringing the kind of the rules of the game into disrepute if you're going to really try and get sent off on purpose.
It's the perfect Sergio Ramos story, and it might even be the perfect end of a Sergio Ramos career, where there is a film crew filming his reaction to his team being beaten at home for his own documentary series. It's like, wow, you have jumped the shark, buddy.
Netflix are laughing all the way to the bank.
Yeah, it's sensational. So I can't wait to see that episode. And you know what? I definitely am going to watch that entire thing, because Sergio Ramos is one of the most compelling figures in world sports. I mean, he is a thundering bastard, but when he's on your side, it's like, yeah, that's great. I want this guy on my team.
You love him. I think we'd all want him in our team, no?
Yeah. I mean, you know a lot about this, right?
Get out of here.
Let's move on, because we do have our special guest this week. Jason Killeen, you're very welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Well, thank you.
Yeah, so this is very, very unusual, and it's one of the things that makes me think that basketball is definitely one of the most progressive sports in the country, because it turns out that on one line we've got Kieran Donaghy, and on the other line we've got you, and you guys might well end up marking each other in a top of the table clash this weekend. How's it going?
Yeah, very good. I'd say there's a fairly good chance of that this Saturday.
So you're from Limerick. You understand exactly the wildness that Tralee can bring to something like this. Yeah, are you informing your Templeogue teammates about what they can expect?
Yeah, I think over the last couple of years we've had a couple of matchups with Templeogue and Tralee, so the lads are very aware of what to expect when we go down there.
Tell us a little bit about your own season, because it's actually going really well for you guys.
Yeah, you know, it's a long season, so a couple of ups and downs. We lost a few games early on that we're kind of kicking ourselves over now, because it's put us in a position at the title race now at the end of the season. But for the most part, doing well. You know, we won the cup last year, which was great, but Tralee knocked us out of the first round of the cup this year, so that was a big disappointment, and that was at home as well.
This is a really massive game in terms of your season, because the way that the fixtures have lined up, Tralee and Marion have to play each other back to back in the final 2 days of the season. If you guys win this, there's a bit of daylight between you guys then.
Yeah, so we've decided, the way we're looking at it, we'd be on top in points right now, but that won't mean much at the end. We've played 2 more games than Tralee. So that would be the 2 Marion games that they have to finish up with.
Bird in the hand, 2 in the bush though, right?
Exactly. I'll take the 2 wins at the moment.
Jason, your own career has been pretty nomadic. As far as I know, you played college ball in the States and then you played a little bit in Europe before you came back to Ireland. So you're very well placed to talk about we've been talking a little bit about the growth of the sport and how Tralee in particular, through just sheer willpower, have managed to reanimate that whole hotbed of basketball as it would have been traditionally. What's your take on where the league is at the moment and how it's going?
I mean, obviously people talk about the glory days of the 80s and 90s with basketball in Ireland, but for me, at the moment in 2019, this is the best it's been. The standard of the league is getting better, and I think it's not just the standard of the imports that are being brought into play, it's the standard of the Irish players that is making the league better. It's probably an influx of foreign nationals and kids coming in that brought basketball with them. But like you said, being from Limerick, Kerry was always a hotbed of basketball, and I think the interest was always there. And fair play to Tralee for getting a structure around that. And, since Tralee stepped up and went Super League, they have the big crowd. Now you see Killarney has a team, Killorglin has a team, and there's just basketball has seen a real resurgence down there.
Kieran, tell us how good Jason is, will you? You can butter him up in advance of trying to take him down at the weekend.
Yeah, well, he's been a huge player for the Irish national team over the whole period of his career. As you said, he played in Europe professionally. He's a big man. He's a kind of a 6'10" Michal Quirk. So so I'm not looking forward to Saturday night to marking him. I wish we had our 7-foot Dusan Bogdanovic to hop off him for a while, but it'll be a great contest Saturday night. We've had great battles with Templeogue. We've had serious games in them over the years. They put us out of the league 2 years ago with a huge win above in Templeogue. We beat them this year above there in a cup game where we played out of our skins really to win. So look, Saturday night is obviously it's huge. If Templeogue win, it kind of looks like the league is theirs. If we win, it throws it into a three team mix. So look, last year we had 5 teams going into the last 2 weekends of the season that had a chance to win the league. So as Jason says, the standard is at extremely high level. When I came in, I was probably the only Irish player on our team that could dunk it. We owned Quigley last week for Tralee. He 3 dunks out in the break. A lot of kids are playing above the rim these days. The athletic ability has gone through the roof. We have so many Irish kids playing at a really high level out in college in America. They'll look to maybe come back to Europe. Or what I'd love to see is if the teams could work on it is them come back to their home clubs and really bring on the level again, which is quite possible if the clubs had more fundraising, had more sponsorship, and could pay these hometown heroes to return instead of what Jason did coming back from college going to a country in Europe. If he could have came back to Limerick, if they had the money to pay him. So that would be the ultimate way for it to go, I think. But look, it's going to be a belter on Saturday night. It's sold out. It's going to be packed to the rafters. We're going to have a great atmosphere. Templeogue are a great team. We've been very competitive the last 3 years. We've one of the best point guards in the league, a guy called Paul Dick. They've got 3 or 4 Irish internationals themselves, and they've got the best American that was in the league last year, a guy called D Proby, another 6'10" monster. So we'll be a bit undersized the weekend, but looking forward to the battle nonetheless.
Jason, do you feel that you're all connected? Like I know obviously you're all going out at the weekend to try and kill each other, but that there is actually a proper basketball community developing at the moment where you can begin to work with your rivals to build a rivalry up, but also to help grow the sport, because ultimately the more the sport grows, the better it's going to be for you guys as individuals and for your teams as collectives.
Well, that's it exactly, and I think Karen touched on something there with, companies getting involved in sponsorship, and that everyone that's involved with the basketball community knows what it has to offer, and what the sport brings. And I think it's becoming more and more popular now with kids, especially that have phones, and you can look at NBA highlights and you have access to all that. So it's trying to make people aware now that there's a very high standard of basketball being played in Ireland at the moment, and the more people that get behind that and the more people that get involved, the faster it's going to grow. Karen was talking about Quigley having 3 dunks last week. I think Lorca Murphy might have had 6 or 7. So there's lots of players, like you said, that are playing above the rim, and just the standard is getting better year on year.
Jason, did you pull down a ring? Did you nearly do a shack and pull down a ring in DCU last week? 2 weeks ago?
That was 2 weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah, Ger, try and get that highlight up there. It's just the young fella on the phone, Killeen, going for a two-handed and nearly brings down the backboard like Shaq did a number of years ago. So we've got a bit of everything going on in the league.
Why is the improvement in athletic ability happen, Jason? Since you have been away, you've come back, you've seen it. What do you put it down to?
Well, it's the the work that the kids are putting in. A lot of kids now are getting away. Like, I played in high school and college in America, and I was almost an outlier at the time to do that. There wasn't a lot of kids doing it, but now, we could be 20, 30 kids in America playing, and they're all getting coached at a very high level, and they're understanding, the strength and conditioning, and when they come back, they're bringing that with them, and it's just improving again. And you have people like Puff Summers who are doing camps all over the country, and kids they have an appetite for it now, and they want to get better.
Yeah, Kieran, is that it? It's just a good quality coaching, more people doing it, the standard raises. Because it always seemed to me like Ireland is a very basketball-friendly country. We've got these not great winters. We've got GAA halls all around the country and basketball facilities. It's really cheap to play, ultimately. So it's kind of the perfect Irish sport.
Yeah, it is. It's a wonderful sport, Joe, because you're on a team of 12. You get very close to your teammates. You find a way to get on with everybody because you have to, because they're all on the court. They're all coming in and out. You're subbing in and out. You're learning to deal with little things during a game, like being taken off if you've had a bad run, and how to respond from that. That when you get a chance to come back in, that you got to deliver. And I think it's a great sport to gain mental toughness. It's a great sport to have awareness about your game. Know what's left in the clock, and that refers very well to all other sports. So it's a great learning game. It's, as you said, it's dry, it's indoors, it's safe. There's no major collision injuries. You're going to pick up your knees and your rolled ankles and all them things that everybody gets in most sports, but you don't have any major collisions unless Jason Killeen hits you with his spin move and he's his elbow up around his chin, which is quite an impact. But if you go with a game that's ideal to bring your young fella or your daughter to, it's such a great start. And as Jason said, there's camps around the place where kids can get in there for a week. They can really learn off of people. They can try and be inspired. And it's a game that you can go practice by yourself in a hall where you can get 400 or 500 shots up in an hour and go out the door without burning up. Like, if you try and take 500 shots at a Gaelic football post, you're going to do a lot of running if you're by yourself. Whereas in basketball, the ball's coming back out to you. So it's a great game. Look, it's a game we obviously love as a community, but it's a game that's growing at a rapid rate in the country, and a game that people have to start bringing their kids to if they're going to get to the top level games in Ireland, which is the Super League. Jason,
last question for you. Kieran Donaghy is a fairly famous on-field persona when it comes to Gaelic football. Is he as lippy on the basketball court as he was on the football pitch?
Oh, definitely. That's why they bring in the big crowd, so the camera can't hear him on the floor during the game,
I wish you the best of luck, lads, especially you, Jason, this weekend. Thanks a million for joining us.
Thanks very much. Bye now.
Thanks, Jace.
So this is a big game, Kieran. Are you going to give us a prediction for this on our prediction slot? Or are you shying away from these bold predictions about the imminent game this weekend?
No, I got to back ourselves, right? I'm going to take the Warriors by 3 in a titanic battle.
There you go. Streamed live on the basketball.
What about you, Joe? What's your pick? Are you going with the favourites, Templeogue, or are you going with the underdogs?
I'm going to go with Templeogue, just to piss you off, Kieran. Just to piss you off.
I knew you'd do that.
I can't believe they're road favourites, though. Come on, no one's going to surely go down to Tralee and be favourites on the road, given the show that you guys are putting on.
They have 4 Irish internationals, and they have 2 guys that are 6'10", and they've won a league and a cup, 2 cups in the last 2 years. So they are favourites, trust me.
Let's talk about Ireland-France this weekend. The performance against Italy was pretty poor. Everybody's kind of pissed off about it. All sorts of conspiracy theories abounding about why teams have suddenly worked Ireland out. Maybe it's not a conspiracy theory at all. Maybe it's just a natural progression that they've started to do some video analysis of it. What's going to happen when Ireland play France at the Aviva on Sunday?
I got this wrong the last time, so I have to be slightly careful. I was saying that Ireland will get 6 tries against Italy, but something tells me that these 2 weeks of kind of reflection and, they would have had time to work on things and try and iron out the kinks. I know they've been obviously doing that, but when you get a bit of breathing space and, the performance wasn't great in Italy, and I don't think it can... not to use the word it can't get any worse, but I don't think it can. I think they can kind of go out there this weekend with a bit of freedom. So I'm going to take Ireland by 10.
Okay, I think Ireland are going to win by about 6 points. I think that they might just squeak a late bonus point as well. So Ireland to win that one. The other big game this weekend, Arsenal against Manchester United. We've seen Ole Gunnar Solskjaer win games that he, on the paper, seemed to have no right to win. Is he going to be able to go to the Emirates and win a big game against Arsenal this weekend?
I'm going with Arsenal. I think they're just due a big game, and I'm gonna go with Arsenal this week. 2-1 maybe, a late winner. I
think the Solskjaer train has left the station and we're all on board. So I'm going for Man United to win. Best of luck this weekend, Kieran, and try not to elbow the 6'10" guy because you might anger him.
Yeah, I'll elbow him in the belly button.
Another shot clock is in the books. Thanks a million. We'll see you next week. Look.